Inauguration of Franklin Pierce. The inauguration of Franklin Pierce was the 14th President of the United States on the Friday, 4th March 1853 at the East Portico of the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. This was the 17th inauguration and marked the commencement of the only 4 years of both Franklin Pierce as President and William R. King as Vice President. Chief Justice Roger Taney administered the presidential oath of office. Pierce affirmed the oath of office rather than swear it, and was the first president to recite in his inaugural address from memory. Ill with tuberculosis, King was in the Spanish Cuba in an effort to recover from the warmer climate, but wasn't able to do in Washington to take his oath on March 4th. By a special act of the Congress, he was allowed to take an oath outside the United States and was sworn on March the 4th, 1853. He was the only vice president to be sworn while in a foreign country. King died 45 days into his term, and his office remained vacant since there was no constitutional provision which allowed for an intra-term vice presidential office filling. It would be regulated by the 20th Fifth Amendment in 1967. Presidency of Franklin Pierce. The presidency of Franklin Pierce began on the March 4th, 1853, when Franklin Pierce had inaugurated and ended on 4th March 1857. A Democrat from New Hampshire took oath as the 14th President of the United States after routing Whig Party nominee Winfield Scott in the 1852 presidential elections, seen by fellow Democrats to all parties, pleasant and accommodating to all the party factions. Pierce was then a little-known politician who won the presidential nomination on the 49th ballot of the 1852 Democratic National Convention. His hopes for re-election ended after losing this Democratic nomination at the 1856 Democratic National Convention, which was succeeded by Democrat James Buchanan. Pierce vetoed funding for internal improvement, calling for a lower tariff, and vigorously enforced the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. Influenced by the Young American Expansionist movement, the Pierce administration completed the Gadsden land purchase from Mexico, clashed with Great Britain in Central America, and led a failed attempt to acquire Cuba from Spain. Pierce's administration was severely criticized after several of his diplomats issued the Ostend Manifesto, which called for the annexation of Cuba by force if necessary. His popularity in the northern free states declined sharply after he supported the 1854 Kansas-Nebraska state, which nullified the Missouri Compromise. Passage of the act led directly to a long and violent confliction of the expansion of the slavery in the western United States. In the wake of the Kansas-Nebraska Act, the Whig Party fell apart, and the Democratic Party was also severely weakened. While the Whig Party broke up, two new major parties emerged in the Nativist American Party and the anti-slavery Republican Party. Pierce actively sought renomination at the 1856 Democratic National Convention, but was defeated by James Buchanan, who had served as Pierce's ambassador to Great Britain. Buchanan went on to win the 1856 presidential election. Pierce is viewed by presidential historians as an inept chief executive whose failure to stem the nation's intersectional conflict accelerated the course towards a civil war. He is ranked as one of the worst presidents in the United States. Thank you and good night.